Our conditions mildly bullish in this bull market. We're seeing futures trade a little bit lower this morning. We've seen running into a little bit of resistance right here, but this is really quite a bullish looking pattern when we look at, let me grab my drawing tool right here, and we see kind of this rounding bottom. This is kind of that cup and a handle pattern with this overhead resistance area where we're seeing a little bit higher lows right here after the support area. So we'll see if we can really press this level, this 6,200 level, 6,150 level on S&P 500. If we could break out of that, we could see a nice run here, at least maybe a continuation or follow through or capitulation type run. Still seeing some nice things happening, at least in that overall pattern. S&P 500 chart here. Again, this is the futures chart, so we get a little bit more of pre-market activity. S&P 500, you can see nice and bullish, majority bullish on 1 hour, majority bullish on the 1 day as well. We just have this overhead supply block, this resistance area that the market's got to push through. If it can't push through that, if this area just rejects it, then we may have another support level back down here in this 58, 50, 58, 5,900 range on S&P 500. We're seeing the breadth overall still right around that 50% range, 46.9, but trending back higher nicely with some of these recent rallies that we've had in the last few weeks. VIX still sitting relatively bullish. We've got majority bullish on the 1 day. We've got majority bullish still on the 1 hour, even though it's kind of retracing. Again, a elevated VIX or a higher VIX is typically indication of lower market equity markets here as well. So we're seeing just a little elevation here on VIX this morning. SHY, we're seeing bond prices still trying to find a little bit of support here. We've got majority bearish, though, on the short end of the yield curve, that SHY, as well as the 1 hour time frame. That's going to correspond. It's up slightly. Today we're seeing interest rates at 2-year yield sitting at 4.18 and pulling back a little bit. Yesterday, you've got this tight compression right here on the trend and still bearish trend. That's what we want to see on rates, particularly the short end of this yield curve. We want to see this thing tank. We want to see it drop significantly or at least start to trend back down again. So starting to see bonds at least finding some support potentially and yields continuing to have a little bit of a bearish tone and starting to break down some levels would be good overall to see interest rates start to pull back down. And again, particularly on the short end of that yield curve, we're sitting at 4 on the 2-year. We're sitting at 4.5 on the 10-year as well. So we have a relatively flat bond yield curve still with rates. Let's look at TLT. We didn't look at that one. A little bit of a move higher this morning, and this 1 hour time frame showing some momentum strength on the shorter time frame here as well. Majority bullish on that 1 hour. Could see bonds strengthening here, which would be good for interest rates, which also may be a good perception for the market, and could push up and break and give us that breakout that we're so close to right here. A Dow Jones Industrial Average, also nice looking pattern. Majority bullish on the daily, majority bullish on the 1 hour here as well. Triple Qs, similar price formation this morning, majority bullish across the daily and the 1 hour time frame. Russell also showing some strength here this morning, up slightly, and majority bullish on the 1 hour and the daily. So you're getting a little bit more volatility here on the Russell, but it's also starting to show some strength right here. So building, kind of getting some compressed momentum to the bullish side across all of those equity markets. USO, the ETF for oil, still weak, pulling back now, attempting that 50% retracement, which could provide some decent support. You've got a whole bunch of support happening on this breakout zone. Could find some support here on USO. Gold continuing to perform nicely. Now we're starting to see this expansion of trend on that 1 hour time frame. The daily chart has had a real nice move here as well. Keep an eye on gold and be watching for pullback opportunities in gold now at this point, where you're getting this expanded trend on the 1 hour. Silver also, keep an eye on silver. This one really has that compression and starting to the upper end of that trend, starting to move to the upside. We've talked about this one really since this breakout point. Keep an eye on silver as well. A couple of stocks to consider today. HIPO, nice confirmation bar today, pushing up into that momentum zone, increased volume, and A little bit of a gap here this morning. That's certainly one to consider. And then also the other one I wanted to look at is RMBS, which is Rambus in the chip space. Nice confirmation. Last couple of days, you're seeing increasing volume come into that, and a nice early location in this trend. We're seeing these two averages here as we cross through that, get some support, finding some support here, moving up above that. Now we're in the momentum zone, which is connecting this high point back down to this 236. This location right here, essentially from here to here, this entire range is referred to as the momentum zone. So we want to see the stock, and typically it will. If it's in momentum, it'll typically hold that upper range, and we can then manage the risk with a stop loss below this location as well. This is the Fibonacci tool. If you don't have access to these indicators, you can get them free Discord room in the description below. And also, if you find value in these videos, please like and share them. And that'll do it for today's update. And everyone have a fantastic day today.